Hi, welcome back to Sherry's Crocheted Happiness. I'm checking in today to show my new book that I got off of Amazon, Crochet Little Heroes. I'm not going to be able to say that name, so let me zoom in there so you can see that name on who did this book. All right, this book has got lots of people. It's got Frida in there. It's got Abraham Lincoln. It has Prince, as you can see from the front there. Lots of little people in here. So I started with, where's my page? I started with Jackie Robinson. It's baseball season. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I'm a big baseball fan, big baseball family. So here is Jackie Robinson. All right, so we talked about my gauge issues before. I don't know if you have some of the same problems sometimes with trying to get the gauge on a project. I've pulled this apart several times. I started with the hook that the pattern calls for, which is a B, size B, which is a 2.25 millimeters. And to get it to look not like a gigantic thing, gigantic Jackie Robinson, I went all the way down to this teeny tiny little 1.65 hook. Not extraordinarily easy to use this hook on 4-ply yarn, but I'm managing. Takes a little patience. I'm not getting through it as fast as I might with a bigger hook, but I don't think he looks terrible so far. Got one leg done, gonna get the other leg done. Here's his big head. So his eyes seem to be pretty square on there. He looks pretty, I think he's going to be okay. He's got a baseball cap still to go and some arms and some baseball pants. These are his legs, essentially. He'll have some pants over with some little shoes that look like they actually are done separately. I think he'd be cute if I could figure out how to do like a little baseball bat or a baseball mitt to for him to hold. So anyway, the pattern, very easy to read, very similar to lots of other patterns that you can find on the internet. The only, like I said, I have an issue with gauge. I cannot figure out how to do it differently. I just go to a smaller hook and I'm getting the gauge. I think it should be, like I was saying, very easy pattern to read though. And I give it a try. There's so many in here to do. Jackie Robinson did the Jane Goodall. She's super cute. I do like the Jane Goodall from the other book that I did better just because she has the little monkey and she's not so... These guys don't have quite the long legs like the other book does. And in the Iconic Women book, these dolls are a little more stout. And I'm not making them the size that the gauge in the book tells either because, like I said, I can't do that. But they are turning out pretty good. Let's see. I was trying to find the Jane Goodall. Here's the Jane Goodall in the other book. And she comes with the pattern to make the little monkey too. So a little different. She's got little longer legs. She's not quite so short and bobbly. Both are very cute. I just have a preference that I like this guy better, or this lady better. I think that there is also a pattern in this book. There is a pattern in here for Rosa Parks. And here is Rosa. This one is super cute. I like them with the little longer legs. And I bet you that there's probably a way to make the other characters with a little bit of a longer leg too by substituting the legs from this one and putting them on the other doll. I think that I don't know, I didn't look to see that, but I bet you there's a way to do that. This is the Rosa Parks from the other book. I like them both. I like how they both come out and how they both are easy patterns to follow. I'm still got some bobbly heads, which I'm working on to make them a little better. I am crocheting a little tube and stuffing it pretty stout with stuffing to stick in there. And that is making them a little stronger. She's got such a heavy little hat on her head that makes it a little bobbly. Her hair is so cute back here. And she carries her little purse. Super cute. Her hat's a little crooked there. I think hats should come back as a choice for us to wear and not look so silly with them. You know, if you went to the grocery store with a hat on like this and dressed like this, people might stop and look at you a little weird, but I really like this classic style. So there's Rosa Parks. Oops, there goes her hat. So back to Jackie Robinson. His pattern, I do like how it's coming out. It feels very, I don't know, very stout and very, you know, he's very sturdy. He doesn't have such a bobbly head. So on this pattern, he did call for little felt around his eyes, and you know, with the way that things are right now, it's kind of hard to find some supplies, and the Walmart didn't have the color of felt that I needed, but they did have a pack, and it has adhesive on the back of it with a little, it's a sticker with adhesive, and so it actually makes it pretty easy to cut out and just stick the little eye in there to give it a little background to the eye so that the eye doesn't disappear on this darker yarn. So there's that. This has so far been worked in a continuous round from the top all the way down to this leg, and I'm getting ready to start the other leg. So let's go ahead and get that guy started. So you read through the pattern, and then it says for the second leg to join and to continue like you did the first leg. So I'm going to do my slip stitch, get my teeny tiny little hook here, and I will join. I'm going to join as close in here as I can so that I can work it around. One of the other things I have found, and I've learned to not be so hung up on it, is that if I'm off on a couple of stitches, if my stitching is off by 2, my count is off by 2, I have learned to just go with it instead of frogging the whole thing and starting over. I've learned, especially in working with these characters, that in the outcome of the project, it doesn't, you know, if my leg is slightly bigger than what their pattern started with, it's not going to be the end of the world. And don't get so hung up on those kind of things when you are working a project, unless of course it makes the project wonky or something, you know what I mean? Don't get too hung up on it though if it's a couple of stitches here or there. Just figure out how to work around that. And sometimes even though patterns have gone through rigorous testing and things like that, I have found that sometimes a pattern just will be off a little bit, and you know, when it says to go 26 and increase it by 2, and then it tells you the next round that your round should be 36, obviously that doesn't match up in counting. So just take those things into consideration when you are working a pattern. All right, so this is what I'm talking about with this yarn and this size of a needle or crochet hook. It gets a little bit stringy and gets like if I'm pulling it through, it's not pulling through the whole thing. So I just have to learn to be patient with that process. All right, so I would continue around in the pattern until I get down to this bottom. You notice I am using a stitch marker to help me keep track of my rounds so that I know where I'm at. A lot of times someone will come in, one of my boys will come in and talk to me, and I totally lose count on my stitches, but I'm able to go back and count from where I left my stitch marker to know that I am in the right area. All right, so I'm going to put this guy down for a second, and I'm going to talk about stuffing, because this guy, you know, you have to get that stuffing down into these areas and fill it pretty tightly. So your batting or your stuffing comes with these handy dandy little sticks so that you are able to get down into those areas. And I fortunately found a whole, well, you can see how much stuffing I go through, but I found a whole bunch of these at a yard sale a couple summers ago. And they, whoever owned these, obviously did a lot of work with them, and they put some nylon stocking on here so that the stuffing doesn't stick and pull back out. This makes it a little easier to get down into those crevices and kind of push the stuffing around so that it's not one-sided or on one side or the other. I didn't know too much about these until I picked them up. I still don't know a ton of stuff about them. I just know that they work super well, and sometimes they almost work better than the stick to try to get stuffing in to areas. They come in all sorts of sizes. She's got writing on this, or he has writing on this that says wrinkler. So whatever they used it for, it must have been to get wrinkles out of their material. They're all different sizes, tiny all the way up to pretty big one. And if you drop them on your ground, your dog will get them and chew on them. It still works pretty good though. So if you happen across some of these at a yard sale, or you see them in a craft store, if they still, I'm sure they must still sell them, make sure to pick those up because those are really handy when you're stuffing these guys. So I will keep working on this, and I will check back in with you guys later. Thanks for checking in. Don't forget to subscribe to Sherry's Crochet, and go check me out on Facebook. I got lots of projects working on there too. All right, have a great day. Keep crocheting.